Good morning, friend. Welcome back to my kitchen. It is early and dark. I happened to get up before my family got up on this morning. I don't set an alarm, and so sometimes I am the first one up, like today, and I feel motivated, and I am going to get in the kitchen and we're going to get a bunch of stuff done before my family gets up. And sometimes I am the last person to get up. And so this day happens to be a morning where I'm up and we're going to get some stuff done. But before we do anything, we need to get a pot of coffee on. And before I can get a pot of coffee on, I need to grind some coffee beans. So I figured while I was standing here and the coffee beans were grinding, I'm going to take a minute to go ahead and fill up the diffuser and get a yummy scent going to make my home feel nice and cozy. So what I'm going to put in the diffuser this morning is some orange and cinnamon because it's dark and cozy. I thought those scents would go well and just make my kitchen feel nice and cozy. The last couple weeks, we've really been focusing on filling the freezer with my freezer and my sister-in-law's freezer with homemade breakfast, lunch, dinner items. Though this week, we've really been working on taking care of last year's garden produce. So we put up all of the potatoes. We went ahead and got the tomatillos turned into salsa verde. And we just got a lot of good projects done. And so what that left us with is dishes. So I am someone that can go to bed with a kitchen that's not fully clean. I know that's really popular to give yourself the gift of putting your kitchen to bed and waking up to a clean kitchen. But you know what? I sometimes at the end of the day, after being in the kitchen all day, I am okay walking away from it. The one thing I do like to make sure I do though before I go to bed is I do like to make sure my dishwasher is turned on so that in the morning I can unload the dishwasher and get it loaded. So that's what we're going to do this morning. But before we do anything, obviously we need to get a pot of coffee on, and I am going to start a load of laundry because I figured I might as well have the coffee pot going and the washer machine going, and then we can tackle dishes. One of the big questions I got asked when I was processing all of the potatoes from last year's garden was, why didn't I just save those potatoes and use them as seed potatoes? Because potatoes are one of these really cool things that grow. Potatoes grow from potatoes. So you plant a potato in the ground and you wait a few months and you dig it up and you have more potatoes, and it's this beautiful cycle. Well, the problem with that for me is that I don't have a way to ideally store my potatoes so that they don't start to sprout before it's time to plant them. So it is late January when I processed the potatoes, so I peeled them and you saw what they look like. They were already shriveling and growing eyes, and they were still perfectly good to eat, but they would not have lasted the 2 to 3 months I would have needed to keep them in order to plant them out. I can't plant potatoes in my area until like late March. And so by that point, those potatoes would have been well too shriveled to plant. And so the goal for me was to save them so that we could enjoy them. And then I just know that I need to buy seed potatoes in March. So no big deal. We will eat them. And I'm so excited to have them diced up and vacuum sealed in my freezer. I have not cooked them yet. When I cook them the first time, I want to cook them with you so we can see how they turn out. But many of you said this is how you put up your potatoes and you love it. And I can tell you that when I look at them in the freezer, they have not changed colors yet at all. They still are nice and white, beautiful potatoes. So before I started my coffee and started my dishwasher, or not my dishwasher, my washer machine, I let the dogs out. So we're going to let them in, and the sun, you can see, is just starting to peek up over the mountains, and the moon was beautiful, and it was so dark and cozy. I love dark and cozy. I am not one though that stays up late, but anytime I have the chance to like turn lights off and like light a candle or go to a restaurant that's really dark with like moody lighting, it's my favorite thing. So that's why I really enjoy the mornings that I happen to get up before my family and putter around my kitchen. They are my favorite type of mornings. It makes doing dishes that much more enjoyable when it's quiet and dark and cozy, and it smells good because the pot of coffee is on and the diffuser is going. I really enjoy these type of quiet mornings in my kitchen. So now I need to wash out my milk frother. I love this thing. This came with a Nespresso pot. We bought like an espresso thing many years ago, and this came with it. We don't use the Nespresso anymore. I just like a good old pot of coffee, but I love this milk frother. All I put in there was some half and half and some cocoa powder, and I'm going to make kind of like a light chocolate flavored coffee this morning. I like the frother because it really makes coffee feel that much more special at home. I can link this frother down below for you if you're interested, but there are lots of frothers on Amazon that are available. But I didn't wash it from the night before, so I had to wash that before I could make myself my cup of coffee. And it was delicious. Now you can really see the sun starting to come up over the mountains, and so it's starting to get a little bit brighter and just a little bit more cheery in the kitchen, and I love it. The next thing I need to get to is to unload the dishwasher. And I got a question, what dishwasher do we have? And it is a Bosch. It just came with the house, and I really do love it. The thing I love about this dishwasher is this is the first dishwasher we've ever had that has the silverware pull-out thing on the top. I actually should say the last house we had, technically that dishwasher had that feature, but when we bought the house, it was already broken on the dishwasher, and I had never had that feature before, so I didn't know how much I loved it. So if I knew how much I loved it, I would have probably purchased that part to replace it, but we just used the little caddy that also was in the dishwasher, and that works just fine. But I have to say, this dishwasher with that top drawer for the silverware is amazing. I really like it. I didn't know how much I would like that feature until we had it. Now I do put my kind of inexpensive wooden utensils in the dishwasher. I know you're not supposed to do that, but just for convenience, I do put those in the dishwasher. I did recently buy myself some olive wood wooden utensils, and those nicer ones, I do not put those in the dishwasher because they are a little bit nicer and I really want to keep them nice. And so I do take the time to wash those by hand, and you'll see that. So now I need to tackle the dirty dishes. So I got the dishwasher unloaded. I have a stack of dishes here. So the day before is the day that we made the salsa verde and the cranberry sauce. So that big stock pot is the pot that we made the salsa verde in, and it is the pot that I actually water bath canned my salsa verde in, and it needs a good old scrub. But before I do the dishes by hand, I'm going to go ahead and load the dishwasher because my sink is full, and it would be very hard to wash dishes by hand with a sink that is full of dishes. And there's a can of carbonated water that ended up in the sink, so I'm going to get that in the recycle. And I'm just going to try to find the bottom of this sink so that we can do some dishes by hand. Now, I take the rings off of my canning jars after I can, and I like to run those through the dishwasher just in case there was any siphoning. So siphoning is when contents of your canning jar actually come out during the canning process, and so food can get stuck on the rings, and I just like to wash them through my dishwasher just to make sure everything is clean so that the next time I need to go to use them, they are already clean. I don't wash them before I can with them like I wash my jars, but I do like to wash the rings right after I use them, and then I just use them when I need them next time and I know they're clean. So here you can see what I was talking about, this top silverware rack. I really, really like this top silverware rack. So there is Dakota there. That is our newest little addition to our family, and he is doing great. He gets along with the other dogs. Sometimes Orbit and Tibero, our older dogs, do need a break from him because he's got puppy energy, and they are getting close to being 10. Orbit turns 10 in May, and Tibro will be 10 next January. So they do all get along, but sometimes you can tell that the older dogs do need a little break from the puppy energy. So this is one of my new spoons that's made of olive wood, and you can see here I do take the time to wash this one by hand because I want to keep this one really nice. I like the shape of this spoon a lot. I got this spoon when we went to the winery and olive grove that is in Oregon that makes a locally produced olive oil. And they were selling these wooden utensils that were made of olive wood. And I only bought 2, and I kind of regret, I wish I had bought a couple more. So maybe we will need to make another trip out there when I run out of the olive oil and I can pick up a couple more of those spoons. So here I'm scrubbing my 30-quart stainless steel stock pot. This was actually a gift that I got. And this is something I would have probably, I can tell you now, I would have never bought myself this 30-quart stock pot. But I love it. It has replaced my roaster pans. I used to make broth and tomato sauce in a roaster pan. And my roaster pan, I had 2 of them and I got them at the secondhand store. And I could tell that the lining of them were starting to go. And I'm not sure what the linings are made out of. And so because I use things like acidic things, I like to make tomato sauce in big quantities. And I guess chicken broth isn't acidic, but because the lining was kind of starting to break down, I had to go ahead and get rid of those. And I have replaced those with these 30-quart stock pots. And I love them because 1, they're stainless steel. And so I know what the pot is made out of. And 2, they have replaced my canner as well. So they're kind of a dual purpose. They can make a ton of chicken broth or beef broth or tomato sauce at one time, or in my case, yesterday I made a ton of salsa verde. And 2, they are now my water bath canners. So I actually have donated both my water bath canner, and then I had to get rid of my roaster pans because they were starting to break down. And I love my 30-quart pots, but they kind of do take a little bit of time to clean. And so that's why I needed to make sure my sink was empty so that I could wrestle that pot and get it clean. And then one of my favorite things to do after washing a bunch of dishes by hand and getting the dishes done is to scrub my sink. I almost always take a minute to scrub my sink after doing the dishes because it just feels like the completion of that project and it feels nice and clean. I don't use anything fancy on my stainless steel sink. I use soap and water and I scrub it and I rinse it, and that is how I clean my stainless steel sink. At one point I did have stainless steel polish. I don't know what made me buy that, but I bought it and I used it maybe 1 or 2 times, and then I thought that's not really worth the effort because I just messy up the sink again minutes after I polish it, so I don't usually worry about polishing it. So this is the project that we had done the day before. We had made the salsa verde from last year's tomatillos and that were in the freezer, and then we had made some cranberry sauce from some store-bought cranberries because I was out. And so what I need to do now is, because these jars have been sitting for, well, I don't know how long, overnight, probably 18 hours or so, I am going to go ahead and write on them what they are, and I'm going to put the date. And don't ever forget to do that, because I have definitely thought to myself, I will remember what is in those jars, and then I don't remember what is in those jars. Cranberry sauce, strawberry jam, raspberry jam can all look pretty similar. And so I force myself to make sure I label everything. Salsa verde is pretty easy to see and know what it is, but crushed tomatoes versus crushed tomatoes versus marinara sauce can be hard to tell the difference. And the date is so important because I want to make sure I am using my canned goods in the order that I made them. So I have a couple jars of salsa verde downstairs. I want to make sure that I use those jars up first before I use these jars that I just made. And this salsa verde turned out so good this year. I'm super happy with it. So here I am rinsing and washing each jar. The cranberry sauce and the salsa verde really did not probably need it, but this is the best practice to have, because sometimes when you're canning, if you're new to canning, the inside of the contents can actually kind of siphon out of the jar during the canning process. It's especially true anytime I make broth or tomato sauce. I've noticed, and even applesauce, the siphoning, I've seemed to have more of that with those products. But it's just good practice to wash your jars, because if there is any food or anything on the outside of the jar, you just want to make sure that's washed off before you put that on your pantry shelf. So that is what I am doing here. I'm not using any soap or anything with these just because there really was nothing on them. Usually when I wash jars when I have canned chicken broth, I always use soapy water because usually there's like some chicken broth on the outside and I just really don't want that going onto my pantry shelf. So now I'm going to put my Sharpie away. I'm just going to let those jars kind of sit there and air dry for a bit while I wipe a counter down. And then I am going to go through and actually dry off my dishes that I washed by hand because I just kind of want to get them put away. I'm in the kitchen. The kitchen is still quiet. My family is still sleeping. I figured I might as well go ahead and just get these dishes put away. Here is the little dog. He is still eating puppy food, and so he needs to eat by himself. The older dogs want his food, and so we kind of have to keep them separate when he is eating. So I'm going to get the cutting board put away, this cookie sheet put away, and we are going to put the dog food up so that the other dogs cannot eat his food. So now I'm going to get this stainless steel stock pot put away, and all of the dishes that I washed by hand now are officially put away so I can wipe the counters down. I also don't mind wiping counters down for some reason. There are some chores, like household chores, that I like doing. I like putting dishes in the dishwasher. I like wiping counters down, and so it feels good to get this project done on this day. I don't really like unloading the dishwasher. I don't mind folding laundry, but I don't really like putting laundry away. There's something about, I guess, putting dishes and laundry away that are not my favorite. But at this point, the kitchen is definitely getting clean, which feels really nice. But I do want to take a second and just scrub my island down one more time so that everything feels equally as clean, which is really nice. And I just use an all-purpose cleaner on my counters. And now that everything's clean, I'm going to take this opportunity because my family is still sleeping, and I'm going to make myself some breakfast. So we had worked on doing a bunch of meal prep recently. I have 2 pieces of bacon that are already cooked. I'm just going to warm them up with a homemade waffle. I'm going to make myself a second pot of coffee. I'm going to top my waffle with some homemade jam, and I'm going to sneak away and see if I can eat this really quickly, or actually I'm going to see if I can eat this slowly while my family is still sleeping, and then I will be fueled and be able to start the day with a clean kitchen and a delicious breakfast and 2 cups of coffee. It is many hours later. The dishwasher is done. So I think what I do before we head outside to work in the seed grow room is I'm actually going to get this unloaded because there already are dishes piling up in the sink, such as life, so that we can load dishes as we have dishes instead of them piling up. I plan to do no actual cooking today, so if we can keep the dishwasher unloaded, then hopefully we can keep this kitchen clean, which is always the goal. Josh set this up for me because I was going to process the last of the tomatoes, but then I decided not to do the tomatoes. I want to try to get to them next week. So I'm going to set that there all set up so that if I get to them, Josh doesn't have to put it away and then pull it back out later. This is a new development, sir. This is not where you go. Excuse me. Off the dishwasher. No, thank you. Oh gosh, I have no towels in here. I think I'm going to go grab some towels because I don't really want to use paper towels. So let's go grab some towels. I'm pretty sure I can rotate the laundry as well. Yeah, this is basically done. I am going to try to get all the laundry washed today, but I am not going to get it all folded. But I will get these towels folded because that's easy. This is generally how I go about my day when I'm just trying to get stuff done, is I will start a task like unload the dishwasher, realize I have no towels, and then I can rotate the laundry, so I'll stop unloading the dishwasher. That's just how I do it. So I usually have multiple things going on at one time. but it works for me. Okay. Sometimes I will just take the day to get all the clothes through the wash and then take a different day to actually fold it. They're mostly white, so I'm going to use this Oxy powder, which I've been really enjoying. Get this turned on. My original goal on this day was to, one, get the kitchen clean. Check, we've done that now at this point, other than I need to unload the dishwasher, but I got distracted by these towels. And then to go into the seed growing room and tackle that. So at this point, I have ordered all my seeds for 2025's garden, minus whatever I forgot. So typically I put one big order in, not just one company, I have like 5 companies I order from, and then I usually start planting and realize, oh, I forgot 1 or 2 things, or I'm almost out of XYZ, and then I usually will put like 1 or 2 more orders in. But I think at this point that I have ordered all my seeds. Now, I can't start that many things at this point. There are definitely things that I probably should have started a few weeks ago, but the seeds have not come yet, so I can't start them till I have them. And so I thought today would be a good opportunity to tackle the seed growing room, because it has become a catch-all. Just as life happens, it's a room that I'm not spending hardly any time in, and so I have just put stuff in there and then left it and not putting it in its home. And so I need to get in there and I need to tidy it up so that it is clean before we actually start seeds and it becomes a little seed room. But you're going to see whether we end up getting that done or not. Spoiler alert, we don't end up getting the seed growing room done. We end up tackling other things, because on this day, I just didn't have like the mental capacity to make that many decisions. For some reason, it felt like organizing that room was going to take a lot of brain power. When I think about it now, I don't think it would take that much brain power, but on this day, I just didn't have it in me. It was a busy week. We had gotten a lot of things done. A lot of thinking had been happening on this week, and, organizing just felt like too much mental energy was going to have to go into that, which is fine. I had energy to do stuff. So you're going to see how we're going to pivot and we're going to get stuff done. We're just not going to get that particular project done, which is totally fine. It's totally fine to pivot if you need to pivot. So at this point, I'm going to organize the linen closet. There were a couple things that needed to be put away and rearranged. Let me tell you, friend, we had spent some time organizing this linen closet together. I am so, so grateful to have a linen closet back. This house, is big as it is, it doesn't have a ton of storage, and not having a linen closet felt hard not to have a linen closet. Just a solid space to put, extra sheets and pillows and beach towels and things like that. And so to actually have a dedicated space for those types of items has been a game changer, and I'm really, really grateful for it. So if you're new, for almost 2 years that we lived here, this was half laundry room, half Josh's office, and that closet was full of Josh's tech computer type things. And so I didn't have a space really for my linen closet. There were a couple like linen type things in there, but it wasn't able to be organized. And now that Josh has his own dedicated office upstairs, all his things were able to go upstairs into his office, and we now have a dedicated linen closet in this room. Technically, this laundry room is one of the bedrooms in this house. So this is not technically just one huge laundry room. This is actually a bedroom in this house. We don't need this as a bedroom, and so I plan to keep this as a laundry room. But that is why, if you're wondering why my laundry room is so big, it's because technically this is a bedroom that happens to have a washer and dryer in it. Originally, the house, the washer and dryer hookups are in the seed growing room. So that's why I have water in the seed growing room, because originally the homeowners had their washer and dryer in that room. And then at some point they switched it into this room, and we just have kept the washer and dryer in this room. So technically this is a bedroom. And so at this point, we're just kind of getting laundry done. I have these towels folded. The laundry looks relatively put together. And so we're going to head back into the kitchen. I certainly did not finish all the laundry that I had, but I got some accomplished. So this is going to go in here. I do tend to wait and fold all the fiddly type things until the very end. I don't know, it's just not my favorite thing to do. I don't mind folding towels, so that's why I went ahead and just accomplished that, because that was an easy win. Sir, please stay out of the dishwasher. It will be nice because I'm not doing any real cooking other than reheating stuff that I've already cooked, to have this unloaded. So dishes, because there are some dishes at the end of the island over there that could have been put directly into the dishwasher had the dishwasher been unloaded. I do wash my scrubbers every time I use them, even my wooden ones. I know that I'll just have to replace them after a while, but I just am the most comfortable with washing them after every use. So that's what I do. I just got the last thing from the dishwasher unloaded. Now I can go ahead and load it. And then the dishwasher is basically empty. So as we have dishes, they can just go directly into the dishwasher, which feels really good. Does that always happen with the dishwashers unloaded? No. I have been guilty, definitely, of just sticking stuff into the sink even when my dishwasher is unloaded and even when I'm the one that unloads it. But it's more likely than not to get loaded if it is at least unloaded and dirty. If it's clean, then it's most certainly not going to get loaded. Okay, I'm going to rinse the sink back out. And I have a project outside I want to do with the green stalks, and now I have towels in here again so I can dry my hands after I wash them. And I know I need to get a 5-gallon bucket that's downstairs. So what I think I'm going to do, because at this point, since it's been a few hours, these are basically dry. I'll just make sure they're dry. We'll carry these downstairs, put them away, and then we will grab that bucket, go to the grow room, and go outside and do our project outside. Get this towel hung up. I need to grab something to carry those down with. I normally have my harvest baskets upstairs, but they must be downstairs. So I'm going to actually carry these jars down in my roaster pan. While I'm down here, I'm going to check for eggs because the chickens had laid a couple eggs. Oh my goodness. Looks like we got 3 eggs here. Awesome. They need to be washed, but I'm happy with that. And it is a beautiful, beautiful day. So I'm going to let them out. Come on, girls. They've been eating the pumpkins that I gave them the other day with you. Come on. They've eaten about half of them, which I was kind of surprised. They must like that pumpkin because some of the other pumpkins they haven't really been touching. Come on, girls. It's so beautiful out. You want some green grass? I do need to get in there and do a little bit of cleaning in there. Oh, does it feel good out here? Have fun out here, girls. See you later today. If you are new, these are planters, and I have strawberries in them, and the plants died back a while ago, and I've never cleaned them up. They look kind of messy, so that's my goal today, is to get these cleaned up. That looks a little bit better. I was thinking I might stack this green stalk, but I have to go get the gray things that go between them. So for now, I'm just gonna leave it. I might do that later today, but I've got one more over here that I wanna tackle. I sit and look out at this one every day, and it's looking a little rough. Some of these I thought were dead, but when I go and look really close, there is definitely some signs of life. I do think some of them may have died, but I think overall most of them have survived. See, like right there. This is technically, I think, the very first the very first garden projects I've done of 2025. And I sit on that chair where Tibro is sitting often and I work, and it's gonna be nice not to have to look at all of this dead foliage. Obviously I still need to sweep, but that feels good to get that done. I didn't want to do it until I knew what was dead and what was alive, because I didn't want to cut away anything that was still alive. But I don't think it's gonna hurt these strawberry plants to cut away all this. I am so happy I finally got to this project. It's only been on my list of things to do for probably 2 months or 3 months because they have been dead that long. But today was the day to get it done and it felt really good. It was not a hard project. It's always nice having those easy wins. And all I can see as I'm talking to you is my patio and how green it is. Last spring, I did not pressure wash this patio. The first spring we were here, I pressure washed it. And then last year, I just never got around to it. It was something I intended to do, but then it just never happened. But let me tell you, friend, I'm telling you now, the first warm day we have this coming spring, I will move all the patio furniture off this patio and I will absolutely pressure wash it because it is very green and we need to get back to the original color. So here I'm just sweeping. It feels so good to get this project done. It looks so much better. I see that I missed a few here and there of the strawberry leaves, but that's fine. I am happy to get done what I was able to get done today. It feels incredible out here. It is not too cold and the sun is out and it is amazing. And I'm getting a little tired. It's been a long week. Let me show you the last thing that was on my list to do today. And I don't know, we're gonna go in here together and see if we're gonna tackle it. That door was locked, so we gotta go around this way. I don't know if I have it in me. We'll see. I definitely should get some more water. And I've only had 1.5 cups of coffee, so maybe I should get some coffee before I make any final decisions and look in there if we're gonna tackle that final room. Let's see, normally if I have something on my list, it's like, yes, we're doing it, but I don't know. We'll see. You and I will figure it out together whether we're gonna tackle that room or not. So I should refill my water bottle. I don't know why that word was escaping me for a minute. This was a gift I got from my sister-in-law 2.5 years ago. I probably would have never bought this thing for myself, but I do really, really like it. You can hear there's ice in there. That's from yesterday. I am someone who loves really cold water, so I can appreciate the ice staying nice and cold. I don't even think these water bottles are popular anymore. Maybe they are, you'd have to tell me, but I'm still using it and still loving it. I like the handle. And I think I need some more coffee. I did eat a nice breakfast. I'm gonna go ahead and wash this out. My favorite way to wash this thing out is actually not the way I did it this morning, but to put a little bit of water, not too much water because it'll overflow, a little bit of soap, turn it on the heat cycle, and then I do give it a little bit more of a scrub. but that's how I like to wash it when I can. A little bit of water and some coffee is gonna give us the best chance if I'm gonna tackle this next project or not. All right, let's go look at it and see if we're gonna tackle it. So this is the project. Oh gosh. It's really not that bad. I mean, it looks terrible, but I don't think it's gonna take that much effort to get it done. You can see I just put all of the cushions in here, and I had the fans on, and I had the cushions in here to air dry to make sure they were fully dry before I put them away. I did myself a favor, and I washed all my seed starting stuff when the garden season was over, but this has become a little bit of a catch-all. I did order all my seeds this last weekend. I don't know, friend. I don't think I have it in me. I was going to do this today. But even though looking at this, it doesn't feel like it will take a lot of time to do, it feels a little overwhelming to me. So I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to go finish the laundry. I'm going to get that completely done. My kitchen is completely clean. I'm going to bring my coffee though. And I'm happy about going into the weekend with a clean kitchen. I got one project started or finished outside, so I'm just gonna finish the laundry. For some reason, that seed growing room feels like it's gonna take a little bit more mental energy for me to complete versus laundry. It is completely mindless. I know how to fold laundry. I've done it a lot. And so I think I'm just gonna either leave that for this weekend when I feel inspired, if I feel inspired this weekend to do it, or you and I will do it next week. But I'm not gonna do it today. It's been a busy week and I just don't have it in me to think, because that's the thing, that I know that I'm gonna have to think about where to put things and how to organize things, and I just don't think I have that in me right now. But what I can do without a lot of thinking, or really no thinking, is tackling this room. I've got a bunch of stuff I need to iron. I've got a thing of laundry I can fold. I can put laundry away. And I'm gonna give myself the gift of doing laundry as opposed to organizing the seed growing room. I will just tell you right now that I did not feel inspired over the weekend to organize that seed growing room. It looks exactly as it looked when I showed you. So at some point, we will tackle that room before we start seeds, and that is going to be hopefully relatively soon. I have received 2 of the packages from the 2 different seed companies. I think I ordered seeds from a total of, I can't remember now. I think it was 4 or 5 companies, and I can link some of those companies down below for you if you're interested in where I get my seeds. I get my seeds from a bunch of different places for a bunch of different reasons, but once all those seeds come, I will definitely need to get that room organized, and the most important package right now that I'm waiting for is the onions, because I need to get those onions started as soon as they show up. And so maybe that will be the motivation I need to finally get that seed room organized. You all see, me do a bunch of stuff with you together. But on this weekend, like I was saying, maybe I'll get inspired and I'll go out there and I'll organize it. I did not do hardly anything on this weekend. Sometimes I prioritize doing nothing. And, when we're together, we're always doing something, because that is what we do. We get things done together. And one reason why I like to get things like freezer meals done is so that on the weekends, sometimes I will go an entire weekend without doing any major cooking unless I feel inspired. Some weekends I cook elaborate meals for my family just because I can and I want to, and it's enjoyable. But then some weekends, like this weekend, I did not do any cooking other than reheating some of the breakfast prep that we had done and cooking up a freezer meal and then maybe throwing a salad together or something like that. I don't remember exactly what we had on this weekend. I just know that I did not do any cooking, and I didn't do any laundry, and I didn't do hardly any dishes other than unload and load the dishwasher as needed for the dishes that we used to have our coffee and to our plates to reheat things. So just so you know, there are definitely times where I prioritize doing nothing and just hanging out with my family, and maybe we go do things outside the home, or maybe we just hang out at home and just hang out and do nothing. And so here I am getting some of the things hung up in my bedroom that need to get hung up in my bedroom. I am hanging more things up, just rotating stuff through the wash. And I do like to hang stuff up. One thing that I do not have is my closet is very, very small, and I don't have a dresser. And so I try to hang as much stuff up as I can because I don't have that much shelf space to actually put clothes onto a shelf, and I don't have a dresser or drawers or anything to put stuff in. So that's why you see me hang up most of my things. So I'm gonna get those put away. I normally just keep my aprons in the laundry room just because, like I said, my closet's not very big, so I don't really have much space to put them in there. And then when I was in here, I noticed that this shelf needed to be cleaned. So I go ahead and take a second and just give this a little dusting, which felt really good to actually get this done. What I need to get done is I actually need to clean my washer. Here is what the laundry room is looking like. Everything is basically done and put away, except I could iron a couple shirts and put those away, but I don't feel like doing that. I got all of my laundry put away, except for there's some socks in here that need to be matched. I don't feel like doing that either. Is there stuff in the dryer? I think there is. Oh yeah, there's some towels and things in the dryer, and we'll worry about that later. Josh's clothes are starting to go through, and we're gonna call it. I'm not gonna be done in here. I'm gonna probably keep rotating laundry through. Oh, there's the chickens. It wasn't a super exciting day. It was a fun and productive day. I love seeing the girls up here. It's been a while since I've seen them up here. Sometimes we just need one of those days to kind of get the house put back together. Kitchen, laundry room. I mean, the laundry is not done. The laundry is never done. The dishes are never done. But I'm not going to be doing any big cooking this weekend because I've done a bunch of cooking. We're just going to enjoy a relaxing weekend. We have a busy week next week. Seeds should be coming in the mail, so we should be starting seeds. I have a dinner party next weekend. So it's just going to be a nice, relaxing week, so that we can hit the ground running with lots of fun things next week. So if you want to watch more of my videos, I'll pop some here. You can go enjoy between now and my next upload. I hope you are having a fantastic day. I hope you have a great weekend, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye, friend.